Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma LaFave. I'm a little under the weather today, so why I'm not on camera, that's why. But I did want to show you these beautiful handmade watercolors that I received from Arkaar Creation. I wanted to make sure I got a video out because, as you can tell by the title, I'm in love. So let's take a look at these beautiful watercolors, some handmade sketchbooks, and do a couple paintings together. Let's jump in. Okay, I am so excited to share this package with you. I was actually on my way out the door, but I had to unbox it and open it before I left because I was just too excited. So I got this watercolor package in the mail from a company called Arkaar Creation. They make their own handmade watercolors and handmade sketchbooks, and they're based out of India. It's actually a husband and wife duo, and they make all of these on their own. And they asked if I would like to try out some of their paints and sketchbooks, and of course I said yes, and I'm so glad I did. So Trupti, the wife that makes all of the handmade watercolors and her husband makes the sketchbooks, sent me this beautiful package of 36 watercolor pans. So generous, and I'm so excited to dive in. Before I left for wherever I was going, I had to try one out. You guys know my favorite color is green, so I tried this one color, verdant. I had to try it out before I left. And then when I came back, there was actually a beautiful surprise. It's a separating kind of dual kind of color gradient, which you'll see once I swatch all these colors. So I decided to kind of put them in an order of colors, and I swatched them in my Etcher Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook first because I didn't want to dive into their paper just yet. I just wanted to get a feel of the watercolors. And while I'm doing this little swatch test, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Arkaar Creation. So Trupti started playing with watercolors in 2017 along with her toddler, who was just 2 at the time, and she wanted to introduce them to creative activities through watercolors rather than crayons. And at that time, she was teaching English language and literature at a university in India. And then she started making watercolors in 2019, and she was still teaching full time. I think it's so fitting that, I used to be a teacher, she used to be a teacher, and so many of us who used to teach kind of gravitate towards this creative outlet, which is amazing. So like I said, she works alongside her husband, which I love that this is a family business. It's her and him. He does the sketchbooks and the shipping, and she focuses on creating the watercolors. And it's just such a beautiful business to be in together. I love handmade watercolors like these because you know how much effort and time goes into creating them. So there's something even more special about using them. And especially the packaging with any kind of handmade item, there's always extra care put into their packages. Like she sent me that painting, which I'm assuming she did. It's absolutely gorgeous, of the trees. She sent me some little sweets from India, which is so cool. And you can just see how much love is put into her packaging. So a little bit about the watercolors. She uses the traditional process using a glass muller and a glass slab. They use pure pigments and give full information on their website of pigments and light fastness whenever possible. So definitely check out their website. It has all the information. And they use gum arabic crystals, distilled water, honey, and clove oil in their watercolors. No fillers, pure pigments. So this stuff is awesome. As you can just see from these swatches, I already have a few favorites that I'm super excited about. I've never been too into the granulating colors as much, but I find the more I paint, the more I'm getting excited about it. And there's a couple here that I would point out that I really love. That Metamorphosis color, the Verdant color, and then some of the more pastel-y colors I'm really enjoying. So then I decided to put them back into the little tins they came in and just arrange them in different kind of moody palettes. So I did this bright one. I used my really thin painter's tape to kind of separate it. Just also so I have kind of the little reference card of what color's what. But I do think I'm going to move all of these colors into a larger palette. So I just have one big palette. But I did try to kind of arrange them by mood, and this is the more bright one, but they're just so much fun. They activate really easily, which some people are really nervous about that with handmade watercolors, but just a little spritz and then a little swipe here and there, they activated so easily. So I really like the range of colors, and there's so many other colors on their website that I'm just like so intrigued about. And I just want to advocate for smaller businesses because, like I said, While sometimes shopping small businesses can be a little bit more on the pricey side, they are so worth it because they are handmade. You are paying for that time and that effort and that love that goes into making these products. And these are really good quality products too. So I highly suggest you check them out. Give her some love. I do have a discount code for you. Look in the description because this is something you're definitely going to want to try. Okay, so now that I'm more familiar with the watercolors, I wanted to test this paper. I've actually been asked about 100% cotton paper from India before, and I never got the chance to use it, so I'm so excited that I get to. Like I said, her husband hand makes these sketchbooks. This is more of a traditional kind of flip style, but the paper is beautiful. I don't think they hand make the paper, but they source it from somewhere handmade in India, which is really cool. And then the other little sketchbook is more of an accordion style sketchbook. So I haven't really figured out what I got to do with that one, but I definitely wanted to try out the paints in the more traditional one and paint something with these beautiful watercolors and paper.
Okay, so now that we got a chance to swatch all of them and create these little cards, I want to paint something with them. So I chose this palette that I created. I feel like it has a bit more of a vintagey vibe, so I wanted to go with that. And I also wanted to test out the sketchbook and the paper. So I have a little mixing slab here just because there are a few greens here, but I want something a bit more rich. I'm wondering if I could mix another green with these, and I want to see how they mix with each other and also test the paper. So I'm gonna open this. And I always try not to start on the first page, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I'm just getting this kind of like vintagey vibe from it. So I'm thinking of maybe doing some sort of like vintage flowers, maybe? I don't know. You know my go-to is always tulips, so do I want to do that? I think I might do that. And we're gonna really test out in a painting how this goes. So I'm just grabbing this, I think it's called Coral, this pink color. It's a really pretty pink. It's very muted. It reminds me of like a ballet pink. And I'm just gonna do some tulips. And so far the paper, it seems nice. It is very textured. It's soft, very soft, but it is very textured. So I know some people might find it a little bit frustrating to work on. You just really have to kind of use more water and just go slow because it will miss some of those in those ridges. Hope I'm making sense. I feel like I might not be. I'm gonna do just a few tulips. But we're really going to kind of test out these maybe color bleeds that we get, see what kind of granulation these paints have. I'm going to grab this purpley color. I think this one is Malbec. Like that. I'm going to grab this golden green and maybe this green a little bit. Actually, I might grab some of the indigo blue just to make it a darker green, like that. And I'm going to do some stems. I want it a bit brighter. I'm going to grab this fun green here, which has like a granulating blue. What's it called again? Verdant. This color actually separates and has a blue granulation to it, and it's kind of cool. You'll see once it dries. Yeah, so this paper is very textured. It's not a bad thing, it's just different. Okay, I feel like this is quite opaque. I'm wondering if I can lift up some of this pink. That's fine. Okay, what do I want to do now? I kind of want to do like this misty kind of green background. It's called soft green. It's a really beautiful color. I feel like it's very vintagey. And I just kind of want to do a little background with this. And then once those dry, I'll put a bit more detail on the flowers. I just want them to dry first. I love this soft green color.
So talking a little bit more about the paper as I do this background, like I said, it's very soft, but it has a lot of texture. So I'm finding that you need a little bit more water and pigment to really get all of that color down. But it does have this really nice handmade felt quality to it, which I really like. It just gives it a little bit of character, which is a lot of fun, and it doesn't feel like any other cotton watercolor paper I've ever worked on before. So I actually really enjoyed painting these kind of like vintagey kind of flowers with these vintagey kind of colors, and then this really nice handmade quality paper to it. So I definitely suggest you give it a try, and it's really fun to play around with. So to kind of conclude my review of this package of amazing paints and paper, I have to say I absolutely love them. I think I'm going to try and use them more often, just as something new and different than my regular professional watercolors. It's more inspiring sometimes, I find, to use new materials, especially ones that react differently. Like you'll see here another couple paintings that I do with them. The granulation and the color separation in some of these paints are really fun and just make it look interesting. And like I said before, I wasn't really into this before. I was really more into those flat watercolors with a nice like smooth wash. But as I grow and develop as an artist, I start to appreciate more interesting aspects of different kinds of watercolors. So I decided to paint some more kind of vintagey like flowers, playing around with the colors, and then I go on to paint some leaves. So I'm going to leave you with that to watch through the end, but I highly suggest checking out Arkaar Creation for some handmade watercolors. I've tried a couple different brands, and I think these might be my favorite. And just the fact that it's run by a family company, and it's just, I don't know, there's just such a nice warm feeling about the whole thing, and I love to support small businesses. So definitely check them out, follow them on Instagram, check out their website. I will put all their socials below, and make sure to check out the discount code in the description as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review and kind of, not really a tutorial, this video in general, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.